Uh, so I originally recorded a 14-minute long review of Halo Infinite's campaign, and then I started playing it back, and then I tried to go get some more footage of Halo's campaign, and the game wouldn't load. I then had to uninstall and reinstall the game to fix it. And then went back to the original footage, and I was like, I don't think it's worth a 40-minute review. So I guess I'm just going to summarize my thoughts on Halo Infinite's campaign. It's not worth full price at all. The game's clearly needs more content, needed more time. From what has been rumored or said in some reports, that the game we actually got was only spent 2 years in actual development. What they went for was, what's the minimum we can ship or sell without people getting too annoyed? It's polished, it lacks a lot of content, and there's some other issues which we're going to get into. But first off, if you got it on Game Pass, it's worth a download. You're probably going to enjoy it. I would say I would give 15% of this game, of the campaign, is actually really fun and well designed. The rest of it is either mediocre, passable, or just bad. When you're playing in the open world section and you're going to a banished facility and you're shutting it down, that is when the game is at its best. The way it's designed, the way Master Chief moves, really complements breaking in, taking it down, these facilities. So yeah, that's the best, that's the height of the game. Then you come back to like the kind of okay, slightly good stuff, but then it gets way too repetitive. So Fob Missions, where you basically just recapture an outpost. All the outposts are exactly the same, there's just different enemies on them. You take them out and then you're allowed to capture the Fob. It gets very boring after a while, and it's literally just the same thing over again. Then there are the missions where you help Marines by either releasing them or taking down some enemies that are attacking them. Again, they're fine, short, quick encounters, but don't have the same flexibility as the banished facility missions do. Like the fact that you can go in and approach them any way you want, and there's different levels, there's different weapons available. There may be some Marines captured that you could rescue them as well and help you fight, or you can do that, fight them, rescue them afterwards, or you can approach it very stealthily. Again, I feel like those missions really complement Chief's gameplay, whereas the other stuff, it feels more like, yeah, they're kind of all very the same, and there may be some land terrain that you can be slightly higher up on. And there's like the assassination missions where you're meant to kill like an elite squad, or I guess enemy who might have a special weapon that if you kill them you get that weapon unlocked. Again, it's not like the facility, it's a very small group. You kill them, that's it, job done, move on. But they're okay, you know. You're not going to have a bad time playing them. You're not going to have as great a time as taking down a facility, but you're not going to have a bad time playing those missions. Until you get to the linear missions. Now, the first linear mission, it's good. Feels like a classic Halo mission. You go through a banished ship and you take out the enemies and then you blow it up. Good stuff. And then it just goes down from there. Second mission, you're inside the ring. You're going around inside the ring underneath the surface, trying to get back up to the surface. And then you'll be pretty much just doing that for the rest of the linear missions. And then you'll quickly realize as you go through these linear missions, that all the corridors are exactly the same. The layouts are exactly the same. They're clearly not designed for you to have all these different movement abilities with Chief. You might say, oh, but Jarvis, there's like canisters that you can pick up. It's like, yeah, that's about it. There's no real movement tech. The layout is just designed to be a straight firefight. And the fact that they repeat, and the fact that the only way they can slow the player down is by having these arbitrary hurdles. Not key cards, just power. We need to open this door, you got to find some power. We need to power, we need to go up this elevator, you need to find some power. And sometimes the power cells are in the same room, but as you get later and later on into the game, the power cells are several rooms down with different paths you can take to get to the power cell. And once you realize you then have to go, once you've got the power cell, enemies don't really spawn or have been completely wiped out. So it's just a track back to where it needs to be placed, and it feels like massive padding. Luckily, the last one, which is about 7 rooms away for each power cell, and you will need 2 of them, they teleport you back, so you only need to cover 3 rooms with nothing to do. And then there are bits where you feel like it's slightly changing because you're in a banished facility, and then it's just arenas. Really, the level designs are pretty laughable, repetitive, and will annoy the shit out of you. Well, they annoyed the shit out of me because just of how samey and samey it was. And compared to the other stuff in the game, it's just like, wow. Wow. And this is where most of the story takes place, so you better enjoy them. Then we get to boss fights, which you could say an improvement over 5, but once again, the boss fights are a joke. They're not good. You have 2 types. You either fight stronger enemies that have shields and a larger health pool, which they will show you that they're you know, a boss because they have a health bar. You also fight them in the side missions like the assassinations, but really sometimes you might get a cutscene before you fight this boss who kind of explains who the boss is and why they're a boss, but really you're just fighting a stronger version of the enemy. And the arenas you fight them in are either a square room with some cover or a corridor with some cover. Later on they get some like variety where you fight 2 of them outside, but yeah, you're basically just fighting a stronger enemy. And then you have the gimmick fights where you essentially have to do something for the boss to reveal its weakness, and you just do that 4 times. They're not fun. They're not well thought out. They're not well designed. And then we come to the story. Story for the most part is alright. The Banished are a joke. If you've never played Halo Wars 2, you'll think these guys are just pathetic. And then the ending is bad. Character development is there, but while Chief is probably the most interesting character, the other character is a bit subpar. And there's no extra side missions to develop characters on the ring or develop other Spartans. It just feels like there was a lot left out just to get this game out on time for December 8th and have it playable and working, because to be fair, there was very little technical issues or glitches. I did have some tearing when I first entered the open world, but after I reset the level, it was fine. I didn't have any game-breaking crashes. Didn't have any glitches where I couldn't finish a side mission, mainly because they just involve killing things, so it's not like a script or an event or anything. You could say it's polished, but then again, it's just such a small game for the money. You know, if you're paying full price for this, it's really not worth it. This game is just average. This review is just average. I wish there was more, and I wish there was co-op, but unfortunately they gave us the minimum amount that they could theoretically give us in their eyes, I guess. Just to get the game out by now. Imagine if they had a few more years to work on this game, how much more content. And then again, the open world doesn't really feel unique to Halo. So, yeah. You're gonna have a fun time, but the linear missions just really drag on and are not good. Not good at all. Once you've completed all like the banished facilities stuff, side quest stuff, you've pretty much played the best bit of the game. Sure, there's some Spartan cores to unlock upgrades for your equipment for Chief, but really it's very surface level stuff and there's no branching paths to make Chief your own. If you liked this video, leave a like. If you didn't, feel free to leave a dislike. I still see the dislikes in the YouTube studio, so feedback is appreciated. Comment below your thoughts on Halo Infinite. Summarize. It's a good time. Some of the time. It's a great time. Little of the time. And it's a bad time. Half of the time. But at least it's flawless and works. I guess. Goodbye.